I'll come up with that. There's a joke there, and I need to figure out what it is. I haven't written an intro, as you can probably tell. Hello, all of you little demons. Jules here for WhatCulture.com, back again with another episode of the awesomely named and awfully hosted Choose Your Own Adventure, the weekly medieval themed format where I, the Crown Jules, WhatCulture.com, take a list chosen by you. Yes, you, the person who is finally back off of their holidays. And yes, I am as tired as I look. Seriously, looking after two young nephews. The Floor is Lava was played so much, it lost all meaning. But I'm back. Yes, you get to decide what list I dole out to you each and every week. And this week we have none other to thank than, and apologies if I mispronounce your names plural, Anathea Siobhan Fury for their suggestion of video game endings, the bad endings that are the true endings, or as they've put it, top 10 games where the true ending is the bad ending. So yes, we are unfortunately, in a rare display of non-positivity for my videos, going to be talking about negativity. I don't know how to feel about this. Quite sad, I imagine. But don't worry, my friends, as we will have a fun time regardless, even if we are talking about bigger canon disappointments than that time that I dropped out of Bombardier School. That is a laboured joke, my friends. But with that in mind, let's get on with the list. As I'm Jules, this is WhatCulture.com, and these are 8 video games where the true ending is the bad ending. And you know the drill by now. Say hi to me here in the live chat and put your suggestions for next week's episode down in the comment section below. But with that in mind, let's get on. Ooh. Number 8, Castlevania Dawn of Sorrow. What's this? We're starting the list with the Evil Finger Temple of Doom already? What am I thinking about? Joe, who is kindly editing today's list because both James and Dan are on holiday. I don't know what's going on with the editors at the moment. We've all decided to take all of our holidays at the same time. Chaos, my friends. Anyway, hello, Joe. And the reason that I'm starting with the Evil Finger Temple of Doom is because technically both the bad and the ultra good endings of Castlevania Dawn of Sorrow allow the player to unlock a brand new mode that carries on the story of our ill-fated protagonist Soma. However, the fact that both points converge on this canon post-credits scene does strangely qualify it for this list. And if you don't like that justification, just ask yourself this question. Are you really going to try and stop me from talking about this often overlooked entry into the Castlevania franchise? I thought not. So let's pick things up at the end of the game where, looks like you done made a whoopsie and forgot to equip a special amulet before fighting the final boss, and gosh dang it, you're Dracula. However, fret not, my fanged friend, because Julius Belmont is here to help you with your situation in the brand new Julius mode, which sees you play through the entire game again with a different moveset and enemy placements with the goal of tearing your spirit from this mortal form. Delicate he is not. Still, what you do get is a rather heartfelt conclusion to the story and a wonderful new challenge, and strangely an ending that comes from both the good and the bad, which is exactly the sort of batshit experience one expects when picking up a Castlevania game. Number 7, Drakengard and NIER. Now, to call the Drakengard and NIER franchises a little bit strange would be like saying that morphine is a little bit better at dealing with your wounds than a kiss on your boo-boo, because Yoko Taro is the kind of mad cat developer that kind of would be the person that I'd imagine would print out an image of a fork and then use that to eat his soup. Yet nothing is as downright insane as the bizarre connection between the two games, which was established through the original Drakengard's ending E. Now, to try and explain what's going on up to this point would likely see my brain unravel like toilet paper and then attempt to shit itself, but in the most basic terms, a giant evil has been summoned and our heroes are having none of it. However, in a manner that can only be termed as oh, okay then. The battle between good and evil sees all parties transported through time and space to Tokyo in the year 2003. And just as the forces of good are getting the upper hand and finally topple the great evil, they are shot out of the sky by a fighter jet and are killed. I wish I was making this up, but hold on to your hats, my friends, because we're going in for round 2 of What the For you see, as the giant evil collapses and turns to ash, the inhalation of which allows people to use actual magic, but at the cost of nearly everyone dying or turning evil, we find out that this is the exact world that the original NIER title took to the stage with. That's right, the worst ending of one game leads to an entire starting point for another franchise. Ah, Yoko Taro, you cheeky whippy, you've done it again, my friend. And by it, I mean that he's broken my brain into a million pieces and is now snorting what remains up his nose. Number 6, Far Cry 5. Now, while at present the Far Cry series might be in a state of diminishing critical returns, there once was a time where the franchise was pulling flips over an open-mouth volcano to the cheers of many, as well as having the time of its life. And alongside each main entry came a spin-off title that usually looked to add a little sriracha to the vanilla experience. Disgusting. And for Far Cry 5, that spin-off was Far Cry New Dawn, a game that set itself as a follow-up to the worst possible ending that you could achieve in the prior title. Here the player explores a world racked by nuclear ruin, the cause of which was the player's previous inaction to stop cult leader Joseph Seed. By allowing Seed to walk free from ignoring certain prompts early in Far Cry 5, we allow the cult to launch nuclear devices in their effort to restart the world. And Far Cry New Dawn even follows up with our previous character from Far Cry 5, the Deputy, as here he's known as the Judge, a follower of Seed's teachings, making it not just an entire game based on a bad ending, but also an insight into the fall from grace our action, or inaction, led to. Number 5. XCOM Enemy Unknown. Listen, I know I've said it 1,000 times over, but once again, for those in the back, let me state things loud and clear. I love the XCOM franchise! And one thing I adore even more than the brutally challenging gameplay and rewarding strategic micromanagement is that the devs are not shy when it comes to messing with fans in the best ways possible. Take for example how the team decided on the narrative threads for the smash hit sequel XCOM 2, as here instead of telling the tale of humanity on the brink of survival as they had done so many times before, this time around humanity had already fallen hard. Now this decision was made thanks to game data gathered from XCOM Enemy Unknown, which showcased a pitiful amount of players had actually won their war against the aliens. So the team must have figuratively looked at each other and just said, right, okay, well, they didn't bother completing our game, so why should we even put them into a position where they have any hope whatsoever? Yeah, sounds about right. So yeah, let's base the entire XCOM 2 on you losing the war from the first game, and now you have to pick up the pieces. Thanks, you did this. Nice one, mate. I have to admit, I'm probably one of those things. I did complete it eventually, but it did take me a long old while. I feel like I've also contributed to XCOM 2, but I love XCOM 2, so it doesn't matter. Here, humanity were bootlickers to the alien races who'd claimed our planet as their own, and in a way, Fire Access were pointing and nudging this scenario while saying to the player base, you see that? You see that? That's because of you, that is. Nice one, mate. Number 4, Max Payne 2. Poor old Max Payne, he really can't catch a break, can he? His family is murdered by drug addicts, his life is broken apart by crime families, and he can't even get to enjoy his new power look, aka tropical shirt and bold dome, without some cheeky whippets trying to photobomb his holiday snaps by shooting him in the gut every 5 minutes or so. It's no wonder his early renders make him look like if durian fruit could smell itself. Ugh. And adding to this pile of misery that is his life is the death of Mona Sachs, another soul on a quest for revenge that ends, as most things do when in the company of Max, in a world of pain. Yes, thank you very much. I will take the Wordplay Joke of the Year award. Yes, thank you. I do deserve this. Her final moments see her unable to kill Max thanks to the growing chemistry between the pair, and she's shot for her inability to get the job done. And as she bleeds out, Max kisses her, and the audience collectively wept at the death of this rather brilliantly written character. However, hope remained, because a rumour began circulating that if you managed to complete the game on the hardest difficulty setting, you would unlock an alternative ending where she survived. And this was true, but unfortunately, it was not the truth. As it turns out that this much more upbeat ending wasn't canon, and so players were forced back into the bleak reality of her death once Max Payne 3 fired up years later. Number 3, Metro 2033. Now, if you've ever cast an irradiated eye over the likes of Fallout and thought to yourself, I'm going to stop doing that because it's drying my eye out loads and I wear contact lenses so it just could pop out at any moment. I'm always afraid that that's going to happen, that it's going to go into the back of my eye. I don't know what it will do back there. Probably join the pea-sized brain that I've got. Anyway, if you've ever looked over the Fallout franchise and thought to yourself, that is far too silly for me, then fret not, my friends, because the Metro series is here to grime up your day. Where Fallout embraced an idealized version of the American dream gone very, very wrong, Metro clung onto enough grit and grime as to make you want to shower shortly after each play session, and let me tell you, it didn't mess around with the choices it presented to players across Metro 2033's runtime. Now, at the very end of the game, the player is evaluated based on how good or bad their karma was, and presented them with different endings, either showing you sparing or destroying the race of Dark Ones entirely. Now, you'd think that an ending which shows you sparing this misunderstood race of people probably would become the canon good ending, right? I mean, yes, it does move you towards a narrative sort of corner, but there is enough wriggle room to allow you to get out with conflicts and misunderstandings if a sequel were to ever show up. But no, apparently that was not on the menu for Last Light, because it basically just said, nah, you killed everyone. You killed everyone. You're a monster. Enjoy. The devs even went so far as to make numerous references to how terrible a decision it was, and the player protagonist also makes reference to how he's not sure it was the right idea. Now, buddy, slow down a minute. Just listen for a second. You made that choice. We didn't do that. That was on you. We're not picking up the check for your mistakes. Even though Last Light was actually a brilliant game. But still, boo on you, man. Stop hitting the buttons, dude. This isn't Dexter's Lab. What a show. Number 2, Mass Effect 3. Now, you might be looking at yourself and thinking, sure that Mass Effect 3 ends with the canonically good ending of everyone survives, has a big space party, and shares some hot galactic cocoa, right? Well, yes, you would be right. But also, you would be so wrong. Kind of. Allow me to explain. Because yes, the franchise does accept the canon good ending of human saves everyone and feels probably very smug about it. However, you have to bear in mind that when Mass Effect 3 first came out, the ending, well, it pissed everyone off. Around the world, voices cried out at unresolved plot points of how the destruction of the relays basically doomed everyone to live in isolation and how food sources for entire species would now be unobtainable. So much so that developers had to rectify this with a monstrous patch which added in story elements. They had in Mass Effect, a second award, thank you so much, I do deserve this as well, given us the bad ending, and until that patch was released, it was most definitely the only true one. Thankfully, the Legendary Edition kept these fixes, and newcomers will never experience the salty rage that we early adopters had to suffer through. And number 1, KOUDELKA and Shadow Hearts. Now, KOUDELKA is one of those games that I'm actually annoyed doesn't get mentioned more, because yes, while it definitely did crib quite a lot of its notes from the survival horror giant that was Resident Evil, it had a unique battle system, it had a crazy Welsh setting, and also it had the best thing of all, which was discount voice acting that was on sale, my dude, because oh boy, stinky. But it makes it a curio well worth exploring, is what I'm trying to say. It's also bizarrely connected to another cult classic RPG series in the form of Shadow Hearts. And how are the titles connected, I hear you ask? Well, they're linked by the player sucking and failing at their one task in KOUDELKA, of course. To better explain, across KOUDELKA, you'll come to know the tale of Patrick and Elaine, lovers who were torn apart when Elaine was murdered after thieves broke into their home. Now, I can't even begin to imagine the pain that Patrick must have felt upon losing his beloved, but his decision to try and resurrect her Pet Cemetery style was definitely a questionable one at best. This allowed monsters to infect the mansion which the game is set in and ultimately tasked the player with putting Elaine to rest permanently. Yet, if you manage to get the bad ending of the game, you'll see the heroes defeated while Elaine then ascends to the heavens above in a new form, which Shadow Hearts picks up from and uses to establish why magic and monsters are now more prevalent in the world. It's a neat setup if nothing else, and arguably if you didn't enjoy KOUDELKA, you actually got a better game out of the prior game's bad ending. So yeah, winners all around. And there we go, my friends. Those were 8 video games where the true ending is the bad ending. I hope that you enjoyed that, and please let me know what you thought about it down in the comments section below, and pop your suggestions for next week's episode down there as well. I love to read all your suggestions, and it's absolutely fascinating to see the weird and wonderful ideas that you come up with each and every week. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. And let's say a big thank you to Joe as well, who stepped in to help edit this video. Big love to you, Joe. I'm sure that you're going to do a cameo or put a meme up here somewhere.
Oh, yes.
Now, hey, there it is.
Fuck off, Jules. I've got a dog now. I'm not being part of your skits.
But before I go, I want to make sure that we end this video with a good ending, which is the truth as well, because you, my friend, watching this video, you are a massive ledge. You deserve all of the best things in life, like love, happiness, and success, and don't let anything or anyone else tell you otherwise, alright? I know I bang on about it, but I want you to hear this every single time you put on my videos. I want you to realize that you are a brilliant person, and I want you to go out there and absolutely smash your life goals today, because I believe in you, and you need to believe in yourself as well. As always, I've been Jules. You have been awesome. Never forget that, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.